So here we are in the final video. I am so excited to be done. I hate doing this. uh, but the thing is, I want to get these out before next year, and this is New Year's Eve I'm recording this on. Which means basically if by the time my family wants to do New Year's festivities, wherever I'm at that point, is where I'm finishing. I'm gonna just stop adding in more images and stuff whenever that point happens. So if at any point in the video you're like, oh, there's nothing else, that's what happened. But guys, it's so exciting. This is the top 10 movies, all 10 out of 10s, all amazing. Wow. So we're starting off with Parasite, which is, everyone loves Parasite. In fact, like, until I get to my top 3, all the movies that are on my top 10 are in the top 250. So this is a pretty basic list, but Parasite's good. Everyone loves Parasite. I think it just has, probably, it's hard to go out and be like, oh, my favorite aspect is this, because everything works really good. I really love the production design of Parasite. It has such a clear aesthetic to it, while not also being an overbearing, just like, it's just a seg. It's also like, it feels like a real world, and it works so well. And then the acting is so good. I don't remember the actor who plays the dad's name, but I think he's one of my favorite just actors in general. He always does such a great job. It's amazing. But it's Parasite. It's not the top movie on Letterboxd anymore. Sorry, but it's it's still number 2. It's still like an incredibly amazing movie. Everyone agrees. Amazing screenplay. It's just so good. It's just, yeah. I don't know what else you want me to say about Parasite. Jesus Christ, it just is cool and investing, and everything is just, it works perfectly. Fun fact, Rear Window is the only Hitchcock movie I've seen, so I'm sorry guys, I've let you all down, but it's an amazing movie at that. It's just incredible. What I really like is just how well realized each character feels. Like, there's only a couple, so it's probably easier to make a lot of interesting characters, but they all feel so alive and so normal. You know what I mean? They don't feel like characters, they feel like people, which is really good. And I feel like they all get their moments to shine, and they all like make you care about them and leave a lasting impact, which is just great. And then also, this movie is just so beautiful. I just love the way this type of film, like the film they recorded on, makes like colors look. I don't know like the mechanical aspects of film. I'm pretty sure it's what they filmed it on, or what they did the colors with. I don't know, but the way it makes the colors look, and even beyond the colors, just the kind of like texture, it's just so nice looking in. And you add that with having really great shots and really great cinematography. It's just a constant visual feast. It's just so great. And then, the story is engaging. It's incredible with how little happens, how much it just keeps you there, which I think is really the mark of a great movie, is if it can keep you when there's little actual story happening. And this does it. And then also just like the buildings look cool, which is very important for being stuck in like the same setting, but the setting just looks cool. It just has dope production design, and it sounds like I just learned the term production design. I don't know what it means. It's probably set design, not production design. I don't know anything about movies. Why are you guys listening to me? Well, you guys probably aren't. I see how low views these get. No one's watching these. Tee hee hee. I love matte paintings so much. You guys do not understand how much I love matte paintings. Give me a nice looking matte painting, and that'll be the best piece of media ever. I just love practical effects. And matte paintings are the best practical effect. I'm sorry. But besides that, it's The Empire Strikes Back. Empire. I know this the titles because I checked before recording this one, so I wouldn't make a fool of myself once more. But yo, it's The Empire Strikes Back. It's Star Wars. Everyone loves it. Like I said before, it's just epic. It's just cool, you know? And then, like, this one really does the best character work. Each character has their, like, own plot lines and arcs, which all feel, like, important. And all feel like they are interesting, which is really nice. Just, you know, it's like, it looks cool, and it's got cool plot lines. You know, Star Wars has got a great score. I forgot to mention that in the last one. You know, I love a good score, and it's Star Wars. They're gonna have great scores. Tee hee hee. But yeah, these are so short. I don't mean for these to be short like I'm rushing. It's just I don't have much unique to say about this section of movies that I just really like for the same reasons everyone else really likes. Once we get into the stuff where I have more unique takes, we might be a bit longer. Sorry about that. And also, I don't know much to say about Star Wars when I know I have another Star Wars movie on the horizon to talk about. Wow, we're at the other Star Wars movie already? What the heck? But yeah, kind of hot take having, Star Wars over Empire, but I just love the pulpiness of this one. It's just like, The Empire Strikes Back is just kind of a pretty dope, like, straight adventure movie. You know what I mean? While this has like a pulpiness to it that kind of is so unique to this. Like, it has such a unique aesthetic, which I think kind of getting it in like larger, higher production quality just doesn't work as well. Like the whole Star Wars thing is meant to be adventure serials. I'm not going to sit here like I've watched a bunch of adventure serials and I know what those feel like, but just kind of what I assume they feel like, this feels the most like it. But it just, I don't know, like I said, kind of like the epicness, the adventureness, it kind of works a lot better in this kind of pulpier setting because, like, when you don't have that kind of more realism, more seriousness to it, which, not to say this is a serious, or like more serious moments, but it feels like the pulpiness allows for the adventure feeling to like permeate throughout every little aspect of the film, which just, I just love adventure stuff. I feel like it fills you with wonder, and to have this sense of wonder in every aspect of the film, it's just great, and it works. Everything looks really cool aesthetically. All the plot lines are fun and interesting, and they like make you want to learn about this world, and everything just feels so grand and large, and it's just a great movie to just watch and just feel that sense of wonder. It's amazing. But it's Star Wars. Everyone already knows that. What the heck? Yeah, Coco's my favorite Pixar movie. That's probably the coldest take imaginable, but it's a cold take for a reason. Coco just goes so hard. I think a lot of times in film scores and stuff, I love when there's a little bit of melancholy to the score. Well, not a little bit. I want it to be all melancholy because I think it makes it so that like there's just kind of a confusion in every scene between the happiness and the sadness, and that's really important because sadness is kind of born from happiness. So when you have these happier aspects tied to your sadness, it like makes it feel deeper. And then when you have a little bit of sadness tied to these happy moments, it just like it all works. And that's what the Coco, score does so well. Like Un Poco Loco, like oh my god, it just has this kind of somberness to it underlying, especially when he's just seeing it. It's just like so good. Having these characters sing these songs and having them, be very important to the story. It really does help in adding this amazing score to like be even more emotionally impactful. And then also this movie just looks amazing. Like I'm a big fan of like these dense urban settings that are like just you probably noticed that a lot of my this film looks aesthetically cool or urban settings, but I love rural settings aesthetically too. It's just I didn't happen to watch any cool looking rural movies last year, but it's just so nice and the colors are so good, and it's just I love all these characters. Hector is just cool and Miguel is just cool. It's just like, and this is another people coming together to be friends. But this is also like found family. It's like, oh my god. Like, I love characters having like paternal bonds with each other. It's just so, it's just so sweet. And then it's like a very emotional movie. Everyone knows this. But it doesn't like feel like it's emotional for the sake of being emotional. I feel like a lot of Pixar movies, especially when Pixar kind of got that like concept around them in society about they're children's movies, but they make you cry. They like throw in a lot of stuff that just is overly emotional and sappy without it feeling like it's really necessary. But here, every emotional moment feels like it heightens the movie instead of just like being just for the sake of making it seem more adult by having it more emotional. And then it's also funny, and the plot works well. It's Coco. Like, there's no flaws. Yo, another just epic adventure movie. Count me in. Princess Mononoke. It's more than Princess Mononoke. I don't know, man. But Princess Mononoke is just an epic. First of all, just as an epic adventure, it's really great. Animation really allows you to make these amazing just settings. It's like, it's Princess Mononoke. It just looks so cool. Everything is so creative. And then I just love, besides the obvious adventure aspects, how grand the story feels. Just in terms of how many conflicting sides there are that all feel equally developed and equally focused on as being in the right and wrong. Of course, there are villainous characters and heroic characters, but it never just feels like it's one side versus the other, and one side's the moral righteous and one side isn't. Everything feels like there's so much depth to this conflict and so much depth to the opposing sides. It just is so cool. And it's got a great score this year, not last year. I actually saw this movie in theaters. And, it really highlighted how amazing the score for Princess Mononoke is. It's just insane. And then it's also just, it's just such a melancholic movie, which I love my melancholies. I've mentioned that in the last entry. But just, oh my god, like the ending especially, it just gets me, you know? It's just the whole movie does. It's Princess Mononoke, guys. This, it's like, it's a whiplash. It's just like, it's so intense, and that's just so great, you know? I love my building up of stress. It's so epic. This is also like a really good case for my thing about going into things completely spoiler free. Like, I went into this and I saw the first scene and I was like, oh, is this like a comedy movie? This is gonna be fun. And then it wasn't. That was crazy. But yeah, it's just, I went to the bathroom, like, and I thought I was like 20 minutes into the movie. I was an hour in. I'm telling you, like, this goes by so fast because it's just so intense and just never lets up, and it's just so good. And, as someone who is socially anxious and cannot deal with people yelling at me, uh, this was genuinely more terrifying than I think any horror movie I've ever seen. Like, I like verbally screamed at parts because of how scared I was of the threat of being yelled at. Uh, which is probably part of what makes it. I mean, score wise, it's incredible, Like, jazz just works so well. I love jazz. Ha ha ha. Uh, Jesus Christ. I will say though, it's so insane to me how many people watch this movie and are like, oh, the characters are morally justified. Because, it's not like a movie where I'm like, oh, I can see like it being misinterpreted. I finished watching this movie. I didn't even consider for a second that anyone could have watched this and thought that this was a good method of teaching or a good way to view your life. And then I go to the reviews and it's like, oh, people think that that's what this is saying. I mean, it's insane. I don't understand how you can watch this movie and agree with the character. They're obviously portrayed to be wrong. I I don't get it. If you watch this, I mean, I've known people and I've talked to them and they just like the people who view it the complete opposite way of me. They like it's the same way for them. They didn't know that it could be like be the opposite way. It's a real which colors the dress situation, you know. But for me, it's epic, and I have to, correct viewing. I mean, maybe the guy who made it just sucks and was being stupid, but this is obviously you're like was better for having a good life and being happy. Is my interpretation. Uh, because I've talked to people who've interpreted the other way and made that influence their life, and that made it worse. So, yeah, whiplash. The thing that kind of like surrounds all my top three are of this year. These aren't my top three of all time, though. My top, no, 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 no. Only my number one is in my top three of all time. But these three and Whiplash are my top 10, and then the next two aren't my top 5. But whatever, is that these are all movies that like really emotionally resonate with me, or I'm not sure if resonate is the right word. They just inspire great emotion in me, and I'm not 100% sure why. And then even disregarding this fact, they're still like great movies, but with this emotional thing, they are really just perfect for me. So we got Encanto. Whoa. Uh, I don't know what it is. I got 30 minutes in, and on my first watch, and I started crying, and I did not stop for the whole movie. And I'm not sure what it is. It's not like I explicitly relate to any of these characters in any grand way. I don't have. Well, I think I do have some generational trauma, but it doesn't come from this. It's more social anxiety based, instead of performance based. But it just I don't know what it did. It just got to me. It just is a super emotional movie. Then even besides that, it looks great. I love it. All the character designs are so nice. And then it's got just a fun story. I love learning about these characters. It's not an exceptionally funny movie. I'm not going to be crawling on the ground because I laugh so hard I can't stand up no more. But the characters are just fun to be around. I just like these guys, They're just dope. Probably because of the character designs. And one other thing is the physics of the clothing during dance scenes. It looks really nice. It's that thing I don't hear enough people talking about and the choreography of the musical numbers is really good, and then the musical numbers themselves, they all sound good. We don't talk about Bruno, Okay, but it just sounds dope. It looks dope, and it's just got a dope story. And it's just, even if you're not gonna have the reaction I have, which is most likely, it's still got the emotional scenes, and it's got a nice story. I think it's just a really dope movie, even if it feels like every movie that comes out nowadays is generational trauma themed. I don't know if every movie, 3 I can name off the top of my head. But, yeah, Encanto. Also, I've read 100 Years of Solitude. And people are like, oh, this is basically just 100 Years of Solitude. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. There's there's some references, but people are like, oh, yeah, it's basically, it's completely taken from 100 Years of Solitude. What? What? Is not even thematically linked really. There are no common themes, and there's maybe the butterflies are they were in the book, but that was relate to one character who came in later into the book. It's a pretty big book. There are more pertinent pieces of iconography that if you're oh, it's basically the book, I would rather see those in here. It's Is it just because they're Colombian? I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe I just don't remember the book well enough, but it is my favorite book, so what? I don't know what it is about Mimi in St. Louis, but it just fills me with so much joy. It's just incredible. I guess it's a lot of people talk about comfort movies and whatnot. This is the only one that ever kind of fits that role for me. Is Meet Me in St. Louis. It's just such a happy, joyous experience that brings me to tears. It just everything is infused with so much joy, which it's incredible. Which especially when you realize how bad the behind the scenes were. I mean, the little girl had a murder attempt enacted upon her while filming this movie by one of the lighting people trying to drop a light on her. And then it stars Judy Garland, and how that goes. But it's so happy. It's just so nice, and then it just looks dope. You know, I love colors. We've been over this. Colors are so dope, and it's got them. The songs are really good. You know, this is the good version of Have Yourself a Merry Christmas. Every other version sucks, and I hate them. I didn't say that on my Christmas special because, you know, it's Christmas. You gotta love thy neighbor or whatever. And so, you know, I didn't want to be like, oh, I hate it. But I do hate it. I hate Frank Sinatra for how he butchered this song in the public consciousness. Loser alert. It's also funny. It's got some good lines. You know, I hate basketball. That's like such an iconic line. I love that line. And one of my favorite movie quotes of all time is just, I hate basketball. Woo-wee. And then again, this is nice, like all the characters feel, this isn't like as big of a, like a good character movie. They don't all feel unique. They don't, but most of them do, and it's just like, it's just fun. It just makes me happy, okay? I don't need to explain why Meet Me in St. Louis is like an amazing movie you need to watch. It just makes me happy. And then, you know, besides just making me happy, it's just it's a great, well done movie. You know, it's Meet Me in St. Louis. Congrats. I feel really embarrassed about having Inside as, you know, like my number one of last year, and also my number one overall. Like, it just feels wrong. I mean, it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like a lot of people do it, but all the people who do it are very easily hateable. And this is the thing I'm most embarrassed about on this list. So that's pretty dope. And also, it's like, you know, it's kind of a movie about not having to hear everyone's opinions on everything. And I was like, oh, I'll just keep this brief. But anyways, I've already been breaking that, so I'm kind of like, you know. But it's Inside. The thing is, there's like one scene where, you know, I got really invested. I got really emotional. And then Bo, he like looks into the camera like directly at you, and he like responds and says like everything directly to what I was thinking in that moment. Like, it just like almost supernaturally. And it's just like, it's an incredible experience. It's the only time it really feels like you're like actively, it's the only time I've ever felt like actively involved in a movie. Not like involved as an invested, but like it felt like it was, there was some form of interaction, which I guess, you know, is a parasocial relationship, so that's not good. But it's just incredible how I can do that. It feels like it's directed towards me, like he can see me in some way, which is probably not a healthy way to view film, but that's how it is. And then it's just like emotional. It's just like, it's just an incredible experience. And then besides that, the soundtrack goes hard. All the songs just sound good. Like, there's no bad sounding songs in this, which is really great. All the songs sound amazing. It's incredible. And then it's just really nice looking. Like, everything just looks so creative, and it's all shot, and it's great. It's just amazing. And I'm sorry, I know people are gonna hate me for this, and probably rightfully so. I don't know. But it just, you know, it felt like it was interacting with me specifically, which is such a unique and powerful thing for a movie to do. I just can't feel right not having it as my favorite. So I guess that's it. I'm finally done. Well, I'm not finally done. I still have to edit. That's when I will like actually feel relief.